Some movies are made specifically for critical acclaim, though some movies aren't always made that way, but surprisingly wind up receiving it. Then there are those movies which don't give a, insert your favorite expletive. They let the viewers decide if they enjoy that, usually developing that accurate cult of followers that keep the heritage alive. The Broken Lizard comedy troupe's very first movie, Super Troopers, is among these. It has been 17 years, and us fans are now gifted with a sequel.
Thanks to what's referred to as the Fred Savage incident, the gang of former Vermont Highway Patrol troopers are now also former Spurbury Police Department officers. Luck finally ends up back on their side when, after a reassessment of the northern border of Vermont, it's discovered that a small section of Canada will now be a part of the US, so the guys are given their jobs as state troopers back for the 2-week period while the countries work out the transfer of ownership. The residents of the town of St. George's Tualaran, the only populated area in the territory, are none too happy about this. The guys end up angering everyone, including the Mounties they're replacing and the town's mayor, Guy LaFranc Raplow. Oh, and they also end up uncovering loads of contraband hidden all over the area.
If you've seen the first, Super Troopers 2 is exactly what you expect it to be. While you have the overarching plot of dealing with both the creating a smooth transfer of power and the potential smuggling ring, this is just glue holding a series of comedy sketches together. So, not much different than the previous movie. Though, in a small way, it is different.
While I really like Super Troopers, I always felt that the funniest moments bookend a kind of slow and draggy midsection. It was like they came up with a bunch of great gags, then realized they needed to come up with a story to fill the other 45 minutes. What this sequel shows is how much the troupe has learned about narrative pacing. The jokes are more evenly spread throughout the entire film, rather than all lumped together. Of course, the majority of those jokes are aimed at every Canadian stereotype in the book. Imagine asking a 13-year-old to write a comedy about Canada, but the only reference material you give them is a copy of Strange Brew. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, Strange Brew being one of my all-time faves, and it works for exactly the kind of movie the Broken Lizard team is going for, here. Plus, they let the Canadians get their share of licks in on American culture, to level the playing field, though the scale still tips toward the Canada ribbing side.
They also know what made the first movie so funny and what people remember the most from it. Thus, you end up with the typical sequel recycling/redoing of the original's gags. Once again, that's perfectly fine for a Broken Lizard movie. You aren't going into their movies expecting them to be breaking all kinds of new ground or experimenting with different formulas.
Basically, if you know you're the target audience for Super Troopers 2, then you'll probably enjoy yourself.